So first of all, I want to show you where you go to implement or make sure that you activate the options that we're going to be talking about today. So you go into options and we look at add-ins. And you want to make sure that you have, as you can see here, the PowerPivot, the PowerMap, PowerQuery, and PowerView should all be active in terms of add-ins. If they're not, you simply go down here to COM add-ins and go to that. And then as you can see, you can upload them, download them. I think there's one that you do need to download, which I believe is the, I think it's the PowerPivot version that you need to download. Yeah. And so you would download it and then you just add it in as a COM add-in here. So that's all you need to do to actually activate with your 2013 Excel.
What if you're still on 2010? You haven't migrated.
Yeah, upgrade. Yeah, and that's a great opportunity to take a look at Office 365 at that point, as opposed to staying with your perpetual or on-premise solution.
Okay.
All right. So what I'm going to do, as you can see, the first thing I'm going to talk about is PowerQuery. And so this is where you're actually pulling in the data that you're going to analyze and manipulate. So here, let me point out, you can actually pull data from the web. You can pull it from a file that you have. You can pull it from a multitude of databases. And as you can see, there's quite a lot to select from. And then also from other sources. And a lot of these, as you can see, tie into Azure. So a lot of the things such as Hadoop, for example, if you want to do big data analysis. You have the Windows Azure Marketplace. So just a lot of choices of things that you can actually pull in. Or, of course, from tables. So let me show you how easy it is. I'm going to do a search. And because what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually search online. And so I'm going to say, we're going to use the Olympics, the Summer Olympics example. So I'm going to say I'm going to look for 2008 Summer Olympics, and then medals awarded. Okay. And so now, as you can see from Bing, it brings me up to choices. So what this allows me to do is, as you can see, I can hover over it, and it will give me basically the example of what this particular table is going to provide. And so I can just kind of move on down and find the one that I might want. Let's say, for example, I want this one, so I just click on over and say add it to the worksheet. And what you'll see is it's going to automatically render that data into your Excel spreadsheet. So at this point in time, you have the ability now to start working with it. So that's simple. So let's go take a look at, let's say, for example, we want to do some informatics. So I'm going to give you a quick sample here. As you can see, the nation, that means that we have geospatial information. So I'm going to show you this PowerMap capability. Let's go ahead and launch PowerMap. And here this brings up the globe for you. I noticed today when I was kind of working through this on the plane that there is a tie-in to Bing that utilizes Bing for kind of helping you with the location. Now I was able to continue to work, but there were some things that it would not show me. So there is, again, there is a bit of a tie-in to the cloud for this particular product. But notice with my touch screen that I can just use my hand to move around, which is kind of nice. I have the ability to put in map labels just by clicking there at the top, and it'll show me the labels. And you also have themes that you can utilize as well if you want to change the background or the coloring. So that's rather nice as well. But notice that here, when I brought up that information, that it automatically clicked on, here's kind of part of the PowerPivot piece, it clicked on nation, and it's what we're going to do is we're going to build an informatic display of the number of labels. So I can just go ahead and click next, and I want to put in another layer there. So what I want to do is I want to click in the labels of the medals. So that would be bronze, gold, and silver. Notice it puts the legend up here for me. I can either utilize that or just go ahead and get rid of it. For this example, I'll just go ahead and get rid of it. And we're going to change it to a side-by-side example. Notice you can do other things such as bubble. For the virtualization, you have heat maps or change it for a regional setting. So I'm just going to change it over to a clustered column. And I also can go over here and change the thickness and height of what's going to be displayed on the globe so that you can see it a lot easier. So now, take a look at it. So this is representative of the metals, and I can change the colors. So let's say bronze, I want to make something that's more similar to bronze. What is that, kind of like a brownish more so. Let me change the gold to something that looks more goldish. And then the same thing with silver. I'll go ahead and we'll change that color to, there's a silver selection here. So notice it automatically adjusts and sets it up for you. So now, let's say for example that we want to, and you have the ability to do this, actually do it, what we call a play tour. And so let's say I'm going to start out with the first scene named China. And I can change this duration of the scene. I'm going to kind of reduce that for demo purposes. And transition time, for example, same thing. And then if there are effects, as you can see, you can do a circle, a dolly, a figure eight, a flyover, push in, or a rotate the globe. And I'm going to do a flyover. And I can go ahead and add in another scene. And let's say, let me go ahead and I'm going to go around here. And if you don't have a touch device, you of course can use the mouse key to move and manipulate as well. Let's see, what do I want to, here's like a lot of them in here. So let's make the second scene Russia. And of course, you know, in a business standpoint, there's many different examples of what you can use this for. I think this is just real simple to kind of help you understand how easy it is to set up. So I'm going to do the same thing. This scene is Russia, just changing the transition time again. I'm going to do a flyover for this one as well. And then we'll just add in one more scene just so we get the U.S. added in there. There we go, the United States. We'll end it so we can kind of see. And we'll call this one USA. And then again, let's change these. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually play the tour. So the concept would be you put together this scene and then you post it up for your users or your customers to see, right? So let's go ahead and play the tour. As you can see, it's actually kind of recorded what we just did.
You can export these in multiple video formats, I'm assuming, or maybe some PNGs,
Yep, let me show you
GIFs.
that.
Okay.
You can set this to music and make a real thematic
Yeah.
presentation out of this as well.
So here you go. To answer your question, you can create a video, and here's the different options, and you can add in a soundtrack as well. So as you can see, you know, best set up for computers and tablets, or quick for a mobile. So just a lot of flexibility there. All right. So that's the first, and that was utilizing, that showed you actually bringing in content and then some geospatial display of that data. And we were doing some PowerPivot because we were actually kind of pivoting on what we were going to show.